And again, in the past segment, I mentioned the fact of wasted talent. Big wasted talent that companies have on their roster, but they are not currently using to their full potential. And in this case, I'm going to do two lists. And it's not going to be a defined number of lists. I'm not going to do a top 5, not a top 10. I'm not going to list them like a number 5, number 4. No. I'm just going to mention all these stars on both WWE and AEW's payroll that aren't used best capacity. Now again, this might I have to add to this the fact that television time is limited, so they don't really have enough time to fit all these stars onto their shows. So that's one of the reasons. Reason number 2, for anyone in WWE, for anyone in AEW, if you haven't been in the company for at least 6 months, then you are not a big wasted talent for the company. Because if you've been in the company for less than 6 months, you just got there, they're trying to figure you out, you just made your debut. And at this point, they're using you in their best way possible. So with that said, let's get into WWE first. And as I said, Mustafa Ali is one of those talents, immensely talented, even on a microphone. The guy can preach. The guy can garner some heat if given the chance. We'll see where that takes him. Another man I mentioned earlier, and that man is Cedric Alexander. Again, another case of a guy who can go. I believe he's a former Cruiserweight champion, he's a former Raw Tag Team champion, a former member of the Hurt Business, and in the Hurt Business, he showed us something that we hadn't seen from him ever, and that is personality, his swagger. The guy can bite at you with his words, with his look, and furthermore, he can back it up in that ring. Now, it depends on how you book him, and if you book him into some wins, that'll give him some credibility. But as far as I know, Cedric Alexander is a star that should be better utilized. Hell, pair him up against Damian Priest, they'll put on a banger for that United States Championship, and then you can move Damian Priest up to the main event. You got someone who recently became a 4-time or 3-time tag team champion in WWE. I'm not counting the NXT tag team title reigns he had with Jason Jordan. But I'm talking about Chad Gable. Chad Gable is maybe one of the most technical wrestlers on the current WWE roster. And he hadn't been allowed to prove that on WWE TV because he hadn't been given any time. But I believe a year or 2 years ago, he was allowed to turn heel, and his personality just bursted. The guy can brag. The guy can be cocky. The guy can be confident, and he can put guys over, as he's doing now with Otis. Where will this take him? I don't know. But all I know is I want to see more of Chad Gable as a singles competitor in singles matches. Those 3 minutes that we had with Randy Orton, as soon as that bell rang, I was glued to the screen. I didn't want to miss a minute of this match because that's how good Chad Gable is. And I know he's a tag team champion, which in theory excludes him from big wasted talent lists. But Chad Gable is someone you can do a lot more with, and I'm hoping WWE does. You got a guy like Kevin Owens. Now you might be asking yourself, Kevin Owens, wasn't he just in the main event of day 1? Wasn't he just in the main event world title match of WWE's first pay-per-view of the year? Yes, he was. He was. Yeah. But it's an injustice that Kevin Owens is only a one-time world champion in WWE. It's an injustice that Kevin Owens hasn't been world champion in WWE for almost 5 years now. And you already know how talented he is in that ring. He's entertaining as hell on the mic. He can make you laugh, he can make you cry, he can make you hate you. And he can make you buy into stuff that you shouldn't be buying into. But I attribute the fact that he is only a one-time world champion, 2 title reigns given to Goldberg, and to Brock Lesnar, and to Braun Strowman, and to all these part-timers that just didn't work out for WWE. And Kevin Owens recently signed a new deal with WWE, so hopefully, he'll get world title opportunities in the future. We've got a guy who proved his mettle in NXT, the former Dominik Dijakovic. Yeah, I kind of forgot his last name, how to pronounce it. Because now WWE made the unwise decision to call him T-Bar when he was first introduced into WWE. And I get it, the names don't matter. Names really don't matter. But T-Bar can go in that ring. You don't believe me? Look up his NXT match with Keith Lee. Yeah. Cesaro. He had a blink and you miss it run last year in WWE. He had his big WrestleMania match against Seth Rollins. And he had a big world title match, universal title match, against Roman Reigns. And then WWE did nothing with one of the most technical and powerful superstars on their roster. Now, this guy does lack on the microphone. He does lack that connection with the crowd on the stick. But the guy can go. And if it were on wrestling ring and wrestling prowess alone, the guy would be on top. Drew Gulak. I can't tell you how many times, and you can look back at my shows, at these videos on this YouTube channel earlier, about 3 years ago, back in 2018, when he was the focal point of 205 Live. His segments where he was trying to teach the audience about real wrestling. Drew Gulak was the entertainment aspect of 205 Live at the time. When it was just wrestling, Drew Gulak, made his mark in that way. And last year he had what I would call a 4-star match with Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. Well, 2 years ago actually. Well, yeah, 2 years ago, 1 year ago. I can't believe the pandemic era is just a blur right now at this point with the Thunderdome. But Drew Gulak is currently a trainer, and he's mostly seen on WWE TV backstage. So WWE fixed that. We've got King Woods and Kofi Kingston. Now, every member of the New Day is World Championship material. Big E just lost the WWE Championship. Kofi Kingston, he was a part of Kofi Mania and a WWE champion. One of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history. And now King Woods, yes, he is the king of the ring. Yes, he is entertaining. But the fact is, WWE has handcuffed the New Day and has handcuffed King Woods and Kofi Kingston into tag team competition for far too long. We got Ricochet. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that just fans can get behind. You want to talk about a guy who can go from technical wrestling 1 second and then the next second he's high flying and doing all these maneuvers that get the crowd on their feet. And if you were to mention and if you were to try to come up with a new SmackDown 6 to start this brand new era on SmackDown, Ricochet would be the top guy on that list for me. Enough said. We've got the current Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, he is the current Intercontinental Champion, so why the hell is he on a big wasted talent list for WWE? And it's simple. if I'm not mistaken, Shinsuke Nakamura won the title back in September or August, or I don't know, because they don't mention it. They just mention he's the champion, and he's got quite an entertaining act with Rick Boogs. Love that intro, by the way. With Pat McAfee dancing and Rick Boogs' energy, I love it. But the fact is, Shinsuke Nakamura has only defended that title once in what, 4-5 months? And yes, he's currently injured, and he has a number one contender. But Shinsuke Nakamura, ever since he made his debut on the main roster in 2018, has been handcuffed. He's been neutered. He's not strong style anymore. He is entertaining, yes, which is what WWE wants. But again, a waste of talent, for sure. We've got somebody like Rhea Ripley, who currently is about to enter a feud with Nikki ASH. Now you want to talk about the women's division in WWE? You got to talk about Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch, and Bayley, and Sasha Banks, and Bianca Belair. Those are the current top stars in the women's division. And right behind them are Asuka and Alexa Bliss. But they've got a winner in Rhea Ripley. They've got a monster in that character. They've got somebody who can tear the women's division left and right. And you're going to tell me you're not going to pair her up against Becky Lynch for the women's title? I respect Doudrop. I respect where they're going to. It's just a throwaway match at the Rumble. I get that. But Rhea Ripley should be one of the focal points of any women's division out there. We've got Naomi, who is stuck on SmackDown, who is stuck in this feud, this silly rivalry with Sonya Deville. And at first I was enticed. I was really into that storyline because I felt like that could get over real quick because Naomi is someone fans want to get behind of. And now, again, she's just stuck. There's nowhere for her to go because WWE can't seem to advance past the fact that Naomi can't touch Sonya Deville. But Sonya Deville keeps screwing Naomi over. They can't get over that. They can't get past that for some reason, apparently. Which is really hurting Naomi. And last but not least on this WWE list, we've got Shayna Basler. And how the hell did they drop the ball with Shayna Basler? First of all, she had a pretty crappy debut in WWE. I believe in early 2020 on Raw. She bit. I did not make a mistake in that. She bit Becky Lynch in her debut. With fake blood and everything. In front of a crowd. Then they had her tear through the entire women's division. She jobbed the entire Raw women's division. Even Asuka in an Elimination Chamber match. Shayna Basler was being built to be the next Ronda Rousey. Or so it seemed. Because then at WrestleMania, WWE made the stupid decision to have her lose to Becky Lynch. Now, I don't know if WWE knew or not if that Becky Lynch was pregnant at the time. I don't think the timing or the months add up. But even then, even if that wasn't a factor in that decision, the way you built Shayna Basler up, make her the damn champion. At WrestleMania, the big stage, you already built her up like a monster, like an unstoppable badass, which she is. Shayna Basler is a badass. And then you have a champion, the challenger, the fan favorite can chase. And now Shayna Basler is just Sonya Deville's lackey. And honestly, I really want Ronda Rousey to return because that might make WWE think twice about Shayna Basler. So with that said, that is WWE's biggest wasted talent. What are your thoughts on my list on every single superstar that I mentioned? Do you think some of these superstars shouldn't be on this list? Do you think I'm missing someone? If you do, leave them in the comment section below.